This is the Orbea Rise, a lightweight electric mountain bike with a 360 watt-hour internal battery and a custom-tuned Shimano EP8 motor. In all of my previous rides, I've never actually ridden it until the battery is completely dead. So in this video, that's exactly what I'm going to attempt. Just how far can I ride with it? On paper, it's got a small battery if you compare it to some other e-bikes. But Orbea have a trick up their sleeve. They've worked with Shimano to custom tune the new EP8 motor and created a really lightweight and stealthy looking e-bike. Orbea also make an optional range extender, which is an extra battery capsule that slots into the water bottle holder on the frame. And this gives an additional 250 watt hours of battery capacity if you need it. I'm fully kitted up on this ride and will have a really heavy backpack on, carrying all of my camera gear, drone, batteries, bike stand, energy snacks and more. I'll also strap this tube and CO2 can onto the frame just in case of any punctures that will stop my test. Adding to my 85 kilo body weight is the 4.5 kilo backpack, and the stock Orbea Rise weighs just under 18 kilos, but I'm adding my spares as well as the range extender, so now fully loaded it weighs 20.5 kilos. And my total riding weight, fully kitted up with a backpack, is 92 kilos. And just to point out, I'm actually going to run 2 separate tests. So I'm just on the internal battery, not the range extender. So we'll work out how far the bike can go with just the internal battery. And then when that's totally done, I'll plug in the range extender. So we'll have 2 calculations. I'm running the bike exclusively in trail mode, but I want to be able to get the most assistance from the motor when I pedal hard. To make sure I get the full 60 Newton meters of torque from the Shimano motor, I've customised the default setting. Right, time to set off and ride. Even the lightweight tyres on here are fine for regular trail stuff. Some people might like something a little bit beefier or, burlier, but just around here, a regular exo casing, VHF and DHR. Don't need any more really. Whew. Now I really am normally a fan of full power bikes. I'd have more power. But there's something about this. It feels so quiet and like a regular bike to ride, but you've got the extra punch. So I just think they've done an incredible job, really. It's so lively. 8 kilometers so far, 465 foot of elevation and 86% battery, so barely scratched the surface, got loads more to do. I found the bike rewards you with assistance when you're in the sweet spot. It seems the more that you put in, the more it gives back. And I found that around a cadence of 85 RPM, it was in the most efficient setting. There's a companion app for smartwatches and a live grid that shows how economical your riding is, as well as other vital stats like assistance mode and battery level. As I crossed from Surrey into Hampshire, I didn't have a strict route in mind. I loosely followed a route that I'd previously done in search of some quality trails. So 19 kilometers, 920 foot of climbing, 65%. This is why e-bikes are so good, just for exploring. You get lost. Doesn't really matter too much. Oh man, it's so overgrown. Oh, nice trail. Another thing I've noticed is how much less energy it takes to lift the front over things
I didn't really think about that so much before, but because it's light, like super light at the front, you're using less of your upper body to kind of hoik it over little roots and bumps and little potholes and little features in the trail. Oh, 2,200 foot, 32.5 kilometers up here with this beautiful view. I'm actually really impressed with the range. 25% battery left. So it's good for, I mean, I'm carrying a lot of weight at the moment. I haven't even touched the range extender. There's not the gnarliest of riding that I've done. Bit of cross-country kind of stuff, bit of trails.
And then as the day drew to a close, just as my legs were getting quite tired, the bike gave up.
That's it, my friends. She's done. I was just climbing up this little hill here and it just turned itself off. And I've done 41.3 kilometers and just under 2,800 foot of climbing.
I actually ran out of time on day one to get the range extender test complete as well. To be honest, I was surprised that I got over 40k on the single battery, especially as I dialed up the torque. So the next day, with the internal battery still at 0%, I connected the range extender and set off on my ride.
I'll say this nice, tell it in a letter, stamp at me without.
I couldn't notice any difference in terms of the power output between the main internal battery and this one. It felt like they were both providing exactly the same levels of assistance.
Together, so I'll stand up and walk out and make my way alone for
Another 1,000 foot of climbing and around 10k in distance, and on this ride I want to kind of just see what it's like on a loop of a bike park or a trail centre, so not necessarily go for the distance but see how much elevation I can get. It's so overgrown, it's really hard to see the trail, what's left of it anyway. So I've done just under 2,000 feet, 16 kilometers, and I've got 25% of the range extender left. But I'm fairly impressed to get 2,000 foot of elevation. On the last ride I got 2,700 feet with 42 kilometers of distance traveled. So this ride has been more about like just getting up and down and getting the elevation. So it's been pretty decent so far. I'm gonna have to start heading back to my base, otherwise I might run out of battery completely. But yeah, just under 2,000 foot of elevation so far. And the bike's power doesn't seem to be any lower. So you get a voltage drop off as batteries kind of get towards the end of their capacity. I can't know, I'm sure there is a little bit, but I can't notice much power loss on this battery right now. So yeah, it's doing all right actually. Quite impressed.
Impressed I was, even with the big backpack, the extra weight of spares on the frame, and dialing up the torque on the app. The bike gave me 2 days of riding without a worry that I might run out of battery.
Battery's just given in. It actually puts it into eco mode. I didn't realise for the final kind of, must be maybe under 10 or 5% of the battery, it just shifts it down into eco and you cannot change it, so you get lower pedal assist. But pretty impressive. What have we done? 22k, 2,400, just under 2,500 foot of elevation.
So let's check out the totals, as well as some of your examples that you've been sending me. So on day one, I did 41.3 kilometers and just under 2,800 foot of elevation. And on day two, with a range extender, just over 22 kilometers and almost 2,500 foot of climbing. I was really impressed with the range, and I asked you guys on Instagram what you'd been getting from your bikes, and thanks so much for sending them in. And it seems like we're all getting pretty decent range. Matt from Surrey Hills, Ben Brown from the Lake District, Reese Pringle with 31 miles and a mix of boost and trail, Mark Carney, 60 kilometers and 1,700 meters of elevation, Ashley Coble, 22 kilometers with his brilliant custom mullet and 160 travel Orbea rise, and Borat with 72 kilometers and 1,500 meters of elevation, and Jens, 22 kilometers, 1,100 meters of elevation, Chris, 30 miles and around 2,200 foot with 50-mile cross-country rides mixed in. So I'd say that we were all really impressed with the range that we were getting from the bikes. I've loved my time on this bike, and check out my other reviews on it if you want to see more information. Thanks for watching, subscribe, and I'll see you soon.